so excited today to be able to talk to Claudine Chess, who's from Meridian Credit Union. Claudine, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. So could you talk about where you come from and the role that you have, and maybe just a bit of your journey to that role?
Yeah, of course. So I work for Meridian Credit Union. We are Ontario's largest credit union, the second largest in Canada. We help over 360,000 members achieve their best life. We have 89 branches. We have 15 business banking centers, and that's just all of the conduits that we have to the communities that we serve. 2,000 plus employees, and we are really driven by our purpose, and that is to be an inclusive, transparent financial services partner. So I am the Vice President of Employee Experience and have grown my career at Meridian, beginning in our branches and then moving into HR and various roles along the way.
Oh, that's amazing. And, it's very interesting to have a title like employee experience and have that called out specifically. I think it's very forward thinking. How would you describe your mandate and responsibilities in this role that you have?
Yeah. So we actually did some work on this recently, and the VP of Employee Experience, my role, is really accountable for identifying and developing and implementing people and culture programs that support the employee experience and also support our culture and really positions our organization to be that magnet for high-performing talent. So my team includes organizational effectiveness, culture, talent acquisition, learning and development, and change management.
Oh, that's amazing. I was looking at the HR Trends 2022 report, and number one where HR is spending their time, same from 2021 to 2022, was on talent. Yes. But the new second place, it was fifth in 2021, is the employee experience. And I'm just wondering, is that true of your organization? Is that where you're spending your time, and why is that?
Yeah, I have to say I love this because I think it's a sign that the times are changing and a direct response to that employer-employee contract kind of being rewritten. If there's one thing that we got over the last couple of years, it was a little bit more time. So that busyness of running from one place to another stopped overnight. And sure, there were a ton of other things that took its place, but no matter how you slice it, we had more time to be with ourselves and others. And this made people think, reevaluate things and, what they want to do, what they don't want to do. And one of those things is their relationship with work. And expectations have changed and they're evolving, and employees suddenly have a whole lot more choice. And the employee experience in an organization really matters.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you think the ingredients are for your employee experience? Or, you can answer it broadly if you want to, but I'm just, what makes an employee experience a good one?
Yeah. Well, I think first, employee experience is really that 360-degree view of the employee's interaction with their leaders, with the culture, with their physical environment, with the technology and tools that they have. So employee experience at Meridian is the work that we do and why we do it. So that's really important. Yeah. Who we work with and how we're supported. So by our managers and our peers. It's about how we grow ourselves and others, how we're rewarded. And again, it's the tools and the ways that we have to work to get all of this stuff done.
Yeah. And how are you going about measuring the employee experience? How do you know that you're making advancements here?
Yeah, this is really important because you take something that seems a little intangible and you have to make it tangible, especially in the business context. So we continually monitor talent indicators like many organizations do. We look at kind of a few key areas. So we look at talent attraction, talent attrition, diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging, reconciliation, talent development, culture, employee experience, and well-being. So there's a lot in there.
Yeah.
And those indices provide that understanding to us. And it's in the form of a dashboard. And we look for patterns so that we can identify really early opportunities to support employees and the business so that they can be really engaged and successful. So that's kind of the hard numbers, if you will. We also have a Voice of Employee program, and that gathers and analyzes employee feedback. So this is the employee sentiment, what they're telling us. It includes open-ended questions, and the employee experience score, along with all of the verbatims, and we receive thousands, give us that view of their experience through the eyes of employees. And so we have really high survey participation rates above 87%.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
our employee experience scores are over 76% favorability, meaning more than 76% of employees score the highest scores on our employee experience. So this really gives us the strong foundation and the reassurance of the culture and employee experience that we have. And we know through this that employees really value Meridian as both an employer and their financial institution.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mhm.
What are some examples of some programs that you or initiatives that you've rolled out under the sort of employee experience umbrella?
Yeah. So we focus on culture with intention. So it can be left to kind of happen itself. But in 2020, we identified the attributes that we knew were important to us as an organization. And with an eye to the future, we knew what was important for employees. And we continue to kind of look at our progress against those. We have high touch leadership practices that are part of this and really are foundational to how we support our employees. Like many organizations, we got really comfortable with our collaboration tools to keep people connected, even when they're further apart. We implemented tools like Yammer as that virtual water cooler, so employees could go to somewhere for general interest. Most teams have a regular cadence of huddles and things like that to keep information flowing and people connected. We increased our mental health benefit so that employees and their families had greater access to the support that they need. We have tuition assistance that's available. We increase the availability of that so that employees have access to funds to help grow their career. And then I think the other piece that rounds it out is that we have a My Commitment to Communities focus, where causes that are important to employees can be invested in and their donations can be matched.
Oh, those are great programs, and thank you for those initiatives. I'm sure the employees are appreciative of that, and I guess you're constantly measuring, and so you get that feedback.
Absolutely. Yep.
That's great. So I want to switch topics a little bit, although it's very much related, into coaching. So you're a certified coach. Can you tell me about your training and the certification process that you went through to be a coach?
Yeah, sure. So I am a certified executive coach and accredited through the ICF, International Coaching Federation. I obtained my certification through Royal Roads University in BC. It was an intense 8-month process, really intense, where I learned not only about the discipline of coaching. So it's kind of a word that gets thrown around a lot, but there is a true discipline to it. And I learned a lot about myself through this. So that whole process is, I attended on-site immersive training. I had to complete about 20 to 25 hours per week of, coaching peers, coaching leaders in other businesses. I was observed a lot. I received coaching on how I coached. And then there was the most nerve-wracking performative exam where I had to coach in front of a panel of accredited coaches. So, yeah.
Well, look, it looks like you made it through. So congratulations.
I did. I'm here.
Way to go. I mean, I think that's great. And, it's a big part of Leaderboard is the, coaching is important, and even in searches, the team's using, coaching principles. How are you using coaching at Meridian sort of to advance that employee experience? And, why is it important to your organization?
Yeah, to me, coaching underpins several important leadership practices, whether it's a career discussion, a performance discussion, a how-to discussion. They all benefit from non-directive coaching. And coaching philosophy holds people capable. And I think it's important to sit with that for a minute. It's not responsible. It's not accountable. It holds people capable. And so it's built on that foundation that the answers or the way forward lies with employees. And, why is that important? The leaders of today need to empower employees. They need to build morale, make their teams feel entrusted. And that non-directive coaching is really a foundational leadership skill that has really broad application and aligns to what employees are asking for as well.
Yeah. Can you describe non-directive coaching?
Yeah, so that means that you're approaching a coaching conversation without an agenda. So as a coach, you're holding space. You have some really great questions that you ask of the person who's being coached. You share observations, but they hold the answers with them. They take the conversation, they determine the priority, and they own the action plan in the end as well.
Huh. And are you using it, and how are you using it to sort of support and identify and develop emerging leaders? Does it have a role there?
So in partnership with Essential Impact, we rolled out part one of certified leadership program to Meridian leaders. To date, we have about 43% of our leaders that have been through the program. So we're still early in our journey of building that coaching muscle. So I wouldn't say that we've intentionally used it to identify, develop, or support emerging leaders, but we are in the process of building that out and weaving that through a leadership development program that caters to kind of a couple of different personas. So it could be new to leadership, new to Meridian, or seasoned leaders. And we really are testing different ways to bring that to life within our organization because we do see the importance. And our leaders are saying that it was really valuable to them.
Oh, that's good. When you, I think the answer is it depends, but when should an employee be coached, and what should someone expect in a coaching experience?
So when should an employee be coached? You're right, that is tough. Because I think coaching has a lot of applications. So maybe I'll just take it from a personal kind of experience. Sure. So there's times where I have invited coaching, and then there's times when it's been suggested for me. And so I invite coaching when I'm stuck, when, something just isn't coming to me, or I can't see, the way forward easily. So I'll invite coaching then. I invite coaching when I find myself triggered or bothered by something and I want to get to the why behind it.
That's good.
And I invite coaching when I want feedback on how I've performed. I find myself being coached when it could be my leader or a peer wants to understand my thinking behind something. Or if my leader has noticed a pattern in my behavior and wants to know what's behind it. And then the other time I think I've noticed it is when my team is looking for clarity. So when I haven't done a good enough job of connecting the dots and they're looking to see that kind of come to life. So those are kind of the when I think somebody can be coached, at least from a personal experience. And then I think the second part of the question was what can people
expect? Yeah.
Yeah. I think there might be a misconception that coaching means that it's a passive role and somebody's going to tell you what to do.
Right.
So it's really opposite to that, where in a true coaching conversation, the person who's being coached should expect to do the work. They should expect to be enlightened. They should expect to feel empowered, and I would say to understand themselves in a situation a little bit better. And I would also say they should expect to have an action at the end. So how do we take this coaching experience and have it have meaning and apply it to their work?
Yeah. What do you think you've learned about yourself through being a coach? What has it brought you?
Realization that I don't have to have all of the answers, but I do have to have some really good questions. And I think that that's both liberating and eye-opening. So, that whole, I can't carry the world on my shoulders, nor do I want to. There's a ton of really capable people around us. And sometimes I just think we have to ask that next best question versus always having the answers.
Wow. That's just an excellent overview and grounding. Thank you for sharing that with us. I really appreciate it. And it's, I think, would you say 45% of your folks are through a coaching program? That's commendable. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to switch to what I call the short snappers. There are a bit more comments on the industry. So I know you've worked in the credit union movement for some time, and you do look very young. So I don't think it's been that long you've been in it. But what is keeping you in the industry, and what keeps you at Meridian?
Mm-hmm. So what keeps me in the industry, I think in particular, working in HR, you get a really good sense of the ethics of an organization. I kind of like to refer to it as like the conscience of the organization, and that's really important to me. So I love how that is part of the fabric of credit unions and Meridian in particular. So that I would say is, the biggest reason why I have chosen to stay.
Oh, that's awesome. So do a little ad for why others should consider working at a credit union. Give me two or three reasons.
Sure. Okay. I think credit unions rally around the community, their members, and I would say that the greater good, if you will. So you're working for an organization that cares about something bigger than itself. With that, I'd say make no mistake, it's not Sleepy Town. Credit unions are businesses with drive and accountabilities, and that's including not only to regulators, but to their members, because we're member owned. So you get a really great corporate experience. And then I think the really cool thing is that even the largest credit unions are still small enough to be agile.
Yeah.
So that means there's a lot of interesting work that is happening. There's job breadth. So you get to have your hands in different things, which keeps you learning and growing. And so it's a great place to build a career.
Oh, that's great. And what advice do you have for young leaders today, young people stepping into their career in terms of, I don't know, you could take that any way you want. What advice would you give them?
Sure. Well, I mean, if we were picking up on the thread from earlier around coaching, I would say to be a good coach, invest in being a good coach as well as getting coached. So be committed to getting coaches. It seems simple on the surface, but leadership is a tough business, and I think investing in some core skills are really critical and stand the test of time.
Yeah, no, that's good. And this is my last sort of businessy question. Then I got a couple fun ones for you. What are 1 to 2 trends or issues in HR that you think every credit union will need to address in order to stay relevant and competitive into the future?
There are many. So with so many opportunities for talent, I think you really have to focus on making work human. So applying that human-centric design. Long gone are the days where employees are either yours as an organization or resources. Human to me refers to making things easy and inclusive and mutually beneficial and caring for well-being, all of that kind of stuff. So I think that is one piece. And then I think the other one that would be important for HR is really imagining the future workforce and the role that upskilling and reskilling plays and getting really good at that. So the pace of change is fast. There's that stat that, what students learn in their first year is outdated by the time they graduate. So, that's a good little bookend there to know just how quickly that changes. So I think we have to be really agile in the way that we identify what we need early and then bring the skills of our employees along the way.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. All right. So I have this vault. I don't know if financial institutions even have these anymore, but I have one. This is it. And I have my really super fun questions in here.
Okay.
And I put them under lock and key. So I'm now pulling out, in theory, there it is. All right. I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
First of all, what is the one thing you own that you really should throw out?
Ooh. My clothes from like when my kids were babies. I have like far too much of it, and I haven't been able to part with it yet.
Oh, that's actually kind of sweet. It's sentimental.
It is, but there's like a lot of sentiment. Like, can there be too much sentimental? Because I might be there. Yeah.
I don't know. Can mothers be too sentimental? I don't know. That's
probably not.
I'll put that one. So the next question is window or aisle?
Window.
Yeah, you don't mind, having to, go to the washroom.
I'm sitting next to you, so hopefully I get to pick that person. But yeah, I like to see where I'm going.
Yeah, I like the window too. I'd still find it so fascinating to be up in a plane. It's just, I don't know. I love looking out the windows. So I don't know if you've ever been in a helicopter.
Agreed. There's never a time when it's not, like awe-inspiring to me.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Well, Claudine, thanks so much for your time today. I really enjoyed the chat, and I think there's so much morsels and big ideas and small ideas that everyone can take and use back at their credit union. So thanks again for your time today. I really appreciate it.
I really appreciate it too. Thank you so much.